again, if you just joined, if you have any questions, please send them through the chat. We will try to get to them as at the end of each little point, and then we'll have a time for a question and answer at the end. We are all young adults or adults here. Let's keep any chats appropriate to the conversation that we're having. It's great to say hi and get to know people, but yeah, let's stay on topic here. We will have a raffle, so stick around to the end. If you fill out our survey, you'll receive a entry to the raffle for a Sphero robot ball. So be sure to stick around and complete that. If you are in a classroom as a group, we'll be sure to get that out to you all. Tonight, we are lucky to be joined by admissions from Oregon Institute of Technology. We have Monica and Matt and Cassidy here, all to talk a little bit about OIT. They'll give us a little virtual tour, tell us some of the program offerings, and talk about their experiences at the university. Again, we hope that there's lots for you all to take away from this, and hope to hear some good questions from you all, and hope that we can answer any questions you may have. So for now, I'm going to pass it on to Monica. And Monica, you should be able to share your screen if needed, and I can stop sharing.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I am still, even though we've been on Zoom for multiple, days and years almost now, I feel like I'm still learning every time I use it. So hello, everyone. We're so excited to be with you here today. I hope you all can see the screen just fine. Adam, do you mind giving me a thumbs up? Does that? Oh, Cassidy, thank you. Perfect. Okay. So my name is Monica. I'm one of the admissions counselors at Oregon Tech. I would love to introduce Cassidy and Matt if you all would like to come off mute as well. Maybe Cassidy, if you want to start and just say who you are, what you do, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here, guys, on an evening. I know it might be a little late for you for coming out of school, but this is right on time for us at the end of the workday. But yeah, my name is Cassidy. I'm an admissions counselor here at Oregon Tech on our commuter campus up in the Portland metro area. So our Portland metro campus is located in Wilsonville, a little bit south of Portland, but I'm actually an alum of Oregon Tech. I attended our Klamath Falls main campus. Graduated in 2020 with my bachelor's degree in business management and marketing. So I'm excited to be able to use my degree in my career every day. That's the end goal. So yeah, I'm excited to answer questions from both perspectives, student perspective, Portland Metro perspective. And yeah, just kind of help you guys understand what your options are after high school.
Hello all, I'm Matt. I'm a senior at OIT in Klamath Falls. I'm studying embedded systems engineering. Let's see, I just finished up a 6-month internship with Intel. So I'm happy to talk about any of those kinds of experiences and anything related to school and engineering. Also want to point out that I went to Mazama High School, graduated there a few years ago, and took some classes from Mrs. Nickerson. So it all seems a little familiar.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. And thank you for being here. I unfortunately did not attend Oregon Tech for school. So I always love to loop in some of our students, current and former students, because I think that they can truly give kind of those best experiences because they lived here at Oregon Tech, just like hopefully some of you all might consider. So I am more than happy to kind of move forward. Our plan for the evening, I think, is going to be a short presentation, and then we'll walk through both, just kind of quickly go through our online campus tours. We won't go too in depth with those, probably just because you can do it on your own if you would like, but it's always good to see the campuses and what they look like. And then I want to reserve most of the time this evening, honestly, to chat more with Cassidy and Matt about their experiences as students and answer your questions. So if you do have some questions throughout, anything that I am mentioning through the presentation portion or anything like that, please feel free to use the chat. If you don't, Cassidy and Matt, I might just ask you some random questions about Oregon Tech to round out everything. And that's totally fine too, but I just want to make sure that everyone present today is able to get as much as they can out of it. We appreciate you all for joining us a lot. I did put in the chat just a quick link. If you're interested in learning more, getting some emails from us and things like that, feel free to fill that out. You can also use the QR code that's on the screen right here. It will be on the last slide as well. And if for some reason you miss it, feel free just contact any of probably me or Cassidy, since we're the admissions counselors, and then we can make sure to get you in the system. But we'll go ahead and move forward here. And for, like I mentioned, this presentation will probably be kind of short. I typically go through the presentations rather quickly because I'd prefer to answer questions. But feel free, like I said, ask anything, raise your hand, put it in the chat, whatever works, and we'll do our best. So we are Oregon's Polytechnic University here at Oregon Tech. We are actually Oregon's only Polytechnic University. So what the word Polytechnic means essentially in how we use the word Polytechnic is to make sure that our students are truly getting a hands-on experience in their classes so that you can go out into the real world and be successful in whatever you're interested in. So our Polytechnic kind of mission is served through offering only Bachelor of Science degrees. And these degrees will be offered in many different hands-on formats like labs, lots of different projects in your courses, internships and externships like Matt mentioned, he just completed one. So lots of different ways that you can get that hands-on experience inside and outside of the classroom to prepare you for your future, whatever that might be. And then we are also transforming as a university. So I am very happy to say that our new seat building, which is pictured here just as a rendering, it is open for students and students are taking courses in it this winter term. So that's our Center for Excellence in Engineering and Technology. And this will house many different lab courses. It has a student makerspace in it. It's going to have OREC, which is our Oregon Renewable Energy Center. It will have a cybersecurity kind of class, but with all the cybersecurity equipment kind of right in the glass that you can see it. So there's lots of different spaces in seat for students to kind of, again, get that hands-on experience and progress in their field of choice. It's a very fun building to go over and see. Unfortunately, it's across campus from the College Union, so I don't go over there very often. But it's lots of fun to kind of just see that and students going and hanging out over there. And then as a campus, we just renovated Cornett Hall, our tech rec center and building so that students could get more of an athletics experience, whether that be working out after classes or in between classes or something like that. We're renovating Boyven Hall soon. And then we did just open up Portland Metro's makerspace as well recently. So lots of new projects happening. And while that might not be like the most important thing, it does just show that we're kind of moving forward and transforming as a university. So hopefully if you all ever attend Oregon Tech, you'll get to use kind of those nice new buildings as well. This is a lot of information on this slide, but my favorite thing to point out about our Oregon Tech students is how successful they are. So as a university, over 96% of our students are either employed in their field of choice or furthering their education upon graduation. So our students are extremely successful, extremely dedicated to what they do. And I think this is truly a kind of a testament to that hands-on experience that they get in their college classes. But it's also just kind of a great way to further your education, whatever you're interested in doing, or go out into the workforce right after graduation. We are a rather smaller institution, in total, about 5,000 students, a little bit over in all of our campuses. So you'll really get hands-on experience with your professors, with your fellow classmates. And I think that the smaller size of the school definitely helps you kind of get connected in ways that you might not necessarily have the opportunity to at a larger university. We'll move forward. The rest of the bullet points kind of show a little bit of an overview of Oregon Tech, but we'll kind of touch on some of those aspects throughout the rest of the presentation as well. I am gonna breeze through this slide also because we will do kind of like a tour, like I mentioned, a virtual tour towards the end of the campuses. But the important thing to know is that Klamath Falls is our main campus. We're in Southern Oregon, so just pretty close to the California border. I didn't ask, but if anybody is interested and or willing and wants to put in the chat where you're from, maybe a major of interest. I know that we have some full classes, so that might not be so possible, but if you'd like to share and want to put in the chat what you're interested in studying or where you're from, anything like that, feel free to do so. That way we can kind of tailor the presentation a little bit more to you. But I do think that some of you all are from Klamath Falls, so that's where our main campus is located. That's where you'll get your residential experiences. Our athletic teams are located down here, and more of the campus life feel that a traditional first-year student might be interested in. Ooh, Alaska, that's very exciting. Sorry, I got distracted by the chat, but we also have our commuter campus up in the Wilsonville area, which is where Cassidy is located. So that is more of a kind of commuter campus where I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to a traditional first-year student looking to get the traditional college experience, but it sometimes fits first-year students great. That might be what they're looking for, and if that's you, that's awesome. Lots of great programs up there. You still get the same Oregon Tech degree, hands-on experience with your professors and classmates, so that is a great option, especially if you're already up in that area and you're looking to stay up there, or if you are just looking for more of the commuter campus feel rather than the traditional college feel as well. Typically, we'll see more of our transfer students up there though, but
I'd also note that
go for it.
Something to think about if you are up in this area, staying at home for a little while, maybe commuting to Wilsonville, you can always transfer down to the Klamath Falls campus. It's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. If that's something you're interested in, you can get those core classes out of the way freshman year, and then maybe move down to Klamath Falls and settle into a program or just into those higher level classes and live on campus or live in the community of Klamath Falls. But you can always transfer between the two campuses pretty seamlessly.
Thank you for mentioning that. You could also do vice versa too. So if you are from Klamath Falls and want to hang out here for a little bit, but then if you think that you might want to move up to the Portland metro area and your degree is offered in both places, that could be a great option for you. And thank you everyone for popping in some things in the chat. This is awesome. And Cassidy and Matt, if I forget anything, feel free to jump in. I didn't mention that, but feel free to do so. We're just gonna quickly go over the majors that we offer. I noticed, and I think that it sounds like a lot of you are interested in STEM, technology, robotics, psychology. That was a very good one. We also have a psychology program, some medicine, pre-med, perfect. So we got lots of interests in the room today, which is awesome. I am going to quickly touch on how our degrees are kind of separated here at Oregon Tech. I won't go too much into detail with a lot of the majors just because we have a lot. But if you do have further questions, feel free to put them in the chat or ask at the end or reach out to us separately. But our school is separated into two different colleges. So a little bit, I don't know, college is always interesting how they separate out into two different like colleges or schools. But we have the College of ETM on one end, which is engineering, technology, and management. Those are all the degrees that are listed there. So we do have lots of different business degrees, which are located over here on the right side. I don't know if I saw too many interests in business, but what I do like to mention, even if there's not a whole bunch of interest in the business degrees, is definitely maybe looking at minors in the future. So what you could take some extra courses or elective courses in, because business courses are always helpful no matter what you go into in the future. But we have some of your traditional ones like accounting, marketing, and management, and then some other more, what's the word? Unique, I guess, business programs. Some that you just might not be as familiar with, like cybersecurity, operations management, healthcare management, things like that. So lots of options there. Then we also have over on the left hand in the middle column more of our engineering focused degrees. So we have your traditional civil, mechanical engineering technology. Some very unique ones that I like to mention are renewable energy engineering, especially here in Klamath Falls. As you all might know, we are in a geothermally heated area, as well as have lots of solar panels on the side of our campus or in the hills of our campus. So students in this program in Klamath Falls are literally like in a renewably sourced area. So they get hands-on experience in that way. Geomatics is a very special and unique one here. We have not lots of graduates. We have many graduates who end up getting lots and lots of different job offers after their time here. So this is a great program if you are interested in being for sure guaranteed a job. We had, I think, 6 graduates and 66 job offers a couple of years back. This is like your land surveying, kind of an offshoot of civil engineering. And then we have electrical as well, electronics engineering technology. And like Matt mentioned, Matt is in our CSET programs, or computer systems engineering technology programs, which encompass these 3 down here: computer engineering technology, software engineering technology, and embedded systems engineering technology. So lots and lots of options under the College of ETM. And I did notice a lot. I saw a question, what would 3D printing fall into? Oh, Cassidy, thank you for answering questions in the chat. I appreciate it. But feel free to keep asking questions in the chat, Cassidy, if you can answer them. But if I miss any, let me know and we can kind of chat those over to the end.
I do have one more thing to add.
Yeah.
Just, as Matt has some really great experience in the engineering world as a current student, I have some really great stories that I always love to share about alumni. So students that have graduated from Oregon Tech in our MMET department, in our CSIT department, that have gone on to work for some really amazing companies. Some close friends of mine that I personally know work for Tesla, Blue Origin, the spaceship company, NASA. A lot of really excellent companies. So there's some really great opportunities for students to come out of Oregon Tech and to head right into those great companies. So always something to think about. It's never too far off.
Definitely. Thank you, Cassidy. And I did notice some questions about more of our College of Health Arts and Sciences majors. So I'll pop over to that slide next. So the Health Arts and Science Colleges encompasses more of our health science focused, as the name mentions, and then our applied science focuses as well. So I noticed there was a couple of questions about like animation, police officers, and things like that. As you might notice, we don't have a specific degree that mentions those in the title. What I would encourage students to do, if we don't necessarily have the degree that you're looking for, if you still really want to attend Oregon Tech, I would encourage you to look more at the applied sciences side of the slide. which is a lot of our degrees that might not necessarily be so specific to an outcome. Like, for example, if you were a dental hygiene student, there's a good chance you would become a dental hygienist in the future. But these programs over here don't necessarily have one specific pathway. They'll provide you lots of different transferable skills in whatever you might be interested in. So specifically for like animation or digital art or something like that, we've had students in the past do a communication studies degree. And then they work with their professors to build a specific pathway for them to kind of get them to where they want to go. So these degrees over on the right are very moldable so that you can make sure that you're getting the courses that you want to kind of go into whatever you're interested in. Also with communication studies, we have had a student go into police to become a police officer as well. They just work with their advisors to build the path for them. So lots of different options that you could do with communications. You also don't have to go into those pathways. You could become an admissions counselor. Oops, you could do lots of different things with any of these degrees over here on the right-hand side. So I'd highly encourage you, if you don't see your specific degree of interest, maybe looking into these first and then going from there. Then the other side of the College of has is the more health science options. So our closed cohorts are over here on the left. Those are going to be a little bit more competitive because they do require a certain number of prerequisite courses to be completed before applying into the professional portion of the program. That being said, I don't discourage you at all from applying to them. So if this is what you're interested in, I highly encourage you to stay passionate about it because we need good people in our healthcare system. But some of the more popular ones in this side are medical imaging technology. So like your general ultrasound or x-ray, nursing is a partnership with OHSU, dental hygiene because we have a dental hygiene clinic on campus. But then respiratory care is super important. Emergency medical services are all super important. So if you're interested in any of these, I highly encourage you to continue to stay passionate about it and ask us how we can help you along the way to becoming admitted to these programs. And then we also have our pre-professional pathway, which is our biohealth sciences degree in the middle. So if you're interested in med school, that could be for you in the future. Cassidy,
Monica, yeah, I just wanted to also point out that our dental hygiene program is partnered with Chemeketa Community College. So they have their own dental clinic on their campus in Salem for a dental assisting certificate, but we partner with them to offer our full 4-year bachelor's degree program in Salem. So you can complete the prerequisites at Chemeketa as well. You could do all 4 years at Chemeketa Community College and complete a bachelor's degree in dental hygiene from Oregon Tech. So something to think about too if you're up in the area. Or, see what your options are.
Definitely. I think that one of the main things from today is that your options are very wide. Once you graduate from high school, I know there's lots of options for you, kind of pathways that you could take after high school. I hope that this presentation and our, session tonight kind of helps you figure out why college could be a good fit in the future. Even if it's not specifically Oregon Tech, we hope that you're able to kind of figure out a way to get to college if that's what you're looking to do. And then one other thing just to transition quickly into is our student support on campus. So I highly encourage you, no matter what you do after high school, to build a support system around you. And luckily here at Oregon Tech, we have lots of different offices and faculty and staff members available to you to support you with whatever you're doing along the way. I highly encourage you, if you do come to Oregon Tech, to seek out these offices. We are here to assist you. So please, please, please reach out where we can or when you can so that we could help you. We have our Center for Academic Resources and Engagement Services, also known as CARES, over here on the left. That includes many different offices to assist you through kind of more of the academic related side of your college experience. So peer consulting is kind of like tutoring. We have our access and campus equity services for any accommodations you might need. Our Tech Opportunities program is our TRIO program. I love pointing that out. This is for students who might have a documented disability with us, or who are low income or first gen. If you fall into any of those categories, I highly, highly encourage you to look into this program or a TRIO program, because they kind of just provide extra support and extra fun activities for you along the way to make sure you're staying engaged in your college journey. And then we have other programs as well, like our Student Health Center. Campus Safety is there for you 24/7. Student Involvement and Belonging, to put on lots of different programming, make sure you feel safe on campus, and belong like you belong on campus. Our Veteran Center, lots of others. So I highly encourage you to build a support system once you graduate, especially if you attend college, just because it's a little bit different than high school is. Now popping into more of the admissions criteria, so not necessarily all the fun things when looking at all of these numbers, but what I'd highly encourage you to do is just block off the right-hand side of the screen and look at the left. As an admissions office, if you're applying as a first-year student, which I think most of you would, a first-year student would be anyone who is applying while still in high school. So if that's you, then you would be looking at these requirements. We're looking for these 15 core subjects over here on the left, and what they consist of is down here towards the bottom. I think the biggest one to point out is our 4 years of math, just because that does typically differ from a high school graduation requirement. That being said, if for some reason you don't have a 4th year of math, if for some reason you're not sure if you meet any of these, I highly encourage you just to reach back out to us in admissions. We'd be more than happy to kind of chat that through with you. I know looking at this, it's like, I don't know if any of my classes fit into these, but we would be more than happy to chat that through with you. The most important thing is that our application typically should be pretty straightforward. So I hope that if you do have questions that come up while you're going through it, that you let us know. But we don't require any SAT or ACT scores, no essays, letters of rec, really nothing extra. We don't even require a transcript. And the reason for that is because we are a self-report application. So you go through and you report the courses that you took and the grades that you got in your courses. And then we will use that to kind of go through your initial admissions decision. And then once you graduate, you would send your official transcripts once you decide that Oregon Tech is going to be the right fit for you. You send those, and then there's like a final complete review of all of your coursework. But there is an application fee waiver code. I would like to put the fee waiver code in the chat. If anybody is a current senior, there's still time to apply. It is just first year, all lowercase, all one word smushed together. There's a good chance that's what it's going to be for next year too. So if there's any juniors in the room, feel free to use that. But the most important thing is we don't want the $50 to be the reason why you don't apply. So feel free to please reach out if you need a fee waiver code. If for some reason that's not working, feel free to let us know, and we would be more than happy to kind of waive that on our end for you. And then, yes, Cassidy.
The priority deadline has moved since November 1st. Is that a typo?
So November 1st is our typical like first initial priority date.
Oh, this would be for fall 22. Sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Never mind.
And you have more time after November 1st to submit your application. That's just an initial priority date. But I do encourage you, whenever you're kind of going to be a senior, to submit your application sooner rather than later if you can, because March 1st is our, I would say, more important deadline. March 1st is our scholarship deadline. So that's a big one, because you want to be able to be considered for and apply to as many scholarships as possible. And for some of the scholarships, you'll need to be admitted before you can apply to them. Our FAFSA deadline isn't really March 1st, but we put it on there anyway to encourage you to get that in as soon as possible, just because FAFSA, which is also known as the free application for federal student aid, is a free application where sometimes you can get free money from the government. So that's a great thing to fill out if you can. And then typically Our commitment and deposit deadline is around May 1st. This year it's May 2nd because that's a Monday, but that's when we ask that you let us know if you'll be attending or not. And if you need more time, please let us know because we can extend that for you as well. And then just quickly to touch on cost, value, and affordability, scholarships and aid. I assume most of you are going to be in-state residents. And if not, this might differ a little bit for you. You might be in the WUI column or the out-of-state column. But if you are an Oregon resident, you'd be looking over at the left-hand side. This is an estimate. It does vary based on major as well as how many credits you take per term. But this could be a general kind of rule of thumb to follow per year. While the number could look kind of big, that is more of a sticker price. So what's more important is over on the right-hand side, again, that scholarship and aid kind of column and how to reduce that price down. So again, submitting the FAFSA or ORSA, and then scholarships. So our presidential and engineering scholarships, you will automatically be considered for through your application as long as you have applied by March 1st. Our OWL scholarship is for any students who have earned college credits while in high school. So if you're in like any kind of dual credit program with your school or anything like that, that could be for you as long as they're in STEM. So like math, science, technology courses, engineering courses. If you have done those, then I would encourage you to apply to the OWL scholarship. Our foundation scholarship down there on the bottom also has a March 1st deadline. And it's one application for multiple different awards. The Leadership and Diversity Scholarship is also under that foundation scholarship. So highly encourage you to apply to that one, as well as if you're from Oregon, OSAC, which is not our scholarship specifically at Oregon Tech, but OSAC, OSAC is a great resource out there in like the outside scholarship realm. Cassidy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to touch on. Is I always kind of try to link the foundation and the OSAC scholarship just because they're really similar in format. So OSAC is very similar to our foundation scholarship, where you fill out one online application and then it'll open up the portal to a lot more that you may or may not be eligible for. You'll just have to comb through the requirements and see what fits best for you. So scholarships might take a little bit of time, but I always encourage students to keep track of them. So maybe make a spreadsheet. Keep track of due dates. Do you need an essay for this one? Do you need a letter of recommendation for this one? Because multiple scholarships, especially if you're looking at the state, national, or local level, are going to have different requirements. But one of the things that I really always love to talk about when it comes to affordability at Oregon Tech is that it's incredibly affordable. As an Oregon resident, I went through 4 years at Oregon Tech completely debt-free. And that was because I put in the time to apply for those scholarships. I completed my FAFSA every single year and was able to work through the things that FAFSA did or didn't offer me. I worked on campus. I worked off campus in the city of Klamath Falls. So yeah, like Monica said, sticker price is, not always what you get. You can really work to, make this cost your own and work at your own pace to make it affordable for you.
Definitely. Thank you for including that. I would definitely say that if you can, if you do need to work while in school, working on campus is a great option, just to mention it. Matt is one of our, technically an on-campus job in the admissions office as a student ambassador. So Matt, I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit, but I definitely think it's a great opportunity, especially if you do think that you want to work while in school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's all kinds of different jobs that you might want to get. You could work in the IT department, you can work in the gym, you can work like this, giving presentations and tours to students, anything like that. And I also want to say real quick, what Cassidy said about completing it debt-free, that is not like completely rare. I'm also that way, so it is totally possible to find a way to make that happen.
And Adam said you can work for MESA. Definitely. It's awesome. Lots of opportunities for, making sure that you can, and even if you didn't necessarily want to work all that much, lots of on-campus jobs will help you and make sure that you are getting the support that you need, because we understand that you're a student first. So Yes, it's awesome. And then we'll move forward to just, this is a chart of what our presidential scholarships look like. Essentially, these are merit-based scholarships. So we will be evaluating it based on GPA or SAT or ACT. I mentioned that we are test optional, so we don't require these tests. But if you have them, they could assist in your scholarship consideration. So essentially, all you do is, if you have a 3.27, then you would pop over to whatever column you fall into here, and that would be the scholarship that you'd be awarded. Or if you have a 23 on your ACT, that's higher, so then you just pop over to those columns there. So these are automatic again, as long as you are admitted before March 1st. So free money is always good money. So like Cassie mentioned, encourage you to apply to any and all scholarships. They're definitely worth your time, even if they feel long and difficult. I highly encourage you to do so at pretty much all schools, because scholarships are awesome. You do have to keep full-time status and a 3.0 GPA while at Oregon Tech to renew these scholarships, but they are renewable for up to 4 years. So definitely a great way to kind of keep that cost lower each year. And then finally, I just wanted to touch on, we do have lots of different campus events happening, and we're hoping to continue to do these over the next couple of months and in the future. But essentially right now they're planned to be in person. So we'd love to see you in person if you can make it. We have a couple of Explore Oregon Tech events coming up soon. These are all going to be located at our Klamath Falls campus. But if you do want to see the Portland Metro campus, they do have daily tours as well. And I'll let Cassie touch on those in just a second here, if she has anything to say about them. But we have Explore events that we would love to have you attend. February 21st is a Monday. It's on typically that week that you might get off for President's Day. But then we also have some Saturday options in March and April. And then our Choose events are for admitted students specifically. So if you're a senior and you're admitted, we would love to see you there. But if you can't make any of those, we also have daily tours at 10 and 2 here in Klamath Falls. Cassidy, do you have anything you want to say about visits for Portland Metro?
Yeah, here at Portland Metro, we also offer tours. They're going to be at 11 and 3. You can also do a virtual visit with either campus at any time. You can meet with an admissions counselor individually. So just kind of talk more one-on-one about your experience, but our tours on both campuses are just going to take you around. A student ambassador like Matt is going to give you more of a student experience. They'll talk about the labs that they're currently using, or show you things that you might be interested in. And then at the end of that tour, usually you'd come and sit down with admissions. So yeah, it's a great way to see the campus. Some students like to tour both campuses, Portland and Klamath Falls. So sometimes that's a great way to get, both sides of the coin and see what you might be considering.
I forgot I muted myself. So thank you so much for that input, Cassidy. I would also just want to leave the whole presentation with the fact that we love talking to students. That's kind of why we are doing what we do. So if you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out. This is our main admissions line. So there's a chance you might get Matt when you call the number, because our student ambassadors are actually the ones that pick up the phones. But if you have further questions, if you have specific questions, Cassidy and I will probably be able to put our contact info in the chat afterwards. And we would love to kind of chat with you further about any questions, or the student ambassadors can also transfer you over to us if you have more, in-depth questions. But we would love to answer any questions that you do have. Right now, I was going to transition to kind of show you where you could go on our website to see a virtual tour and then kind of walk through it a little bit. But does anybody have any questions that while I do that, if anybody wants to raise their hand or unmute themselves, or Cassidy, if we missed any in the chat, if you want to read them out while I pull up the tour, that would be awesome. I did see one, I think, about the Tech Trek in February. We are hoping and planning for it to be in person. We'll definitely reach out to everybody who is signed up. If for some reason that changes, but for right now, it is planned to be in person. That's our goal. Can you see that okay too? The tour? Perfect. Okay. Just want to make sure. So, let's see, did I miss any others in the chat while I was, oh, I saw that Cassie said that. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, I will continue and go through kind of a virtual tour, and feel free to ask any questions if you have more. But this is our Klamath Falls campus. And if you just type in like on our website, Oregon Tech Visit, you can navigate to the virtual visit if you would like. This is a great option if you're not able to come to campus for any reason, or travel to campus, but it's kind of just looping itself around. It's a 360 tour, so you can see campus. This was, I don't know when they filmed this, but there has actually been some changes since they filmed these. So I can try to point some of those out. That we just looked at was kind of the main quad area, outside area of campus. Our fountain is geothermally heated. So it's always running, even in the snow. Down, if you go this hallway, this is our college union. If you go down this hallway, we're located down there, the admissions office. So if you ever need us and go to the college union and you see the bookstore, we're down the hallway to the right. That's where our admissions office is located. The college union is kind of just a great place for students to gather, meet with friends. There's food options here. Sorry, I apologize if I'm moving that around too much. But the college union is a great place to meet with friends, have food. Cassidy, would you like to say something about the college union or anything?
Yeah, I mean, the college union is really just kind of our main hub. So a lot of events that go on campus will happen in the college union. You'll often hear people refer to it as the CU, which is just the abbreviation of college union. So the CU houses our campus dining, like Monica said, well, not all, but some of your important offices like financial aid are going to be included in the college union. And then, yeah, again, here's how campus dining up here, we call it the marketplace. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as the marketplace within the college union. We don't really call it the dining hall. As you go through the tour, you will see those pop-ups that'll ask you for your information. So we do gather data from the tours, but it gets a little annoying, but you can click through them without having to input that information. But yeah, I always kind of laugh because I realized once I was in my time at Oregon Tech, you kind of almost learn your own Oregon Tech language. We have a lot of acronyms and a lot of kind of interesting names for places, or just, kind of offhand slang that becomes the norm. So sometimes I have to remind myself of what things are actually called.
Yes. And I was going to mention in the last picture, we unfortunately don't have Subway upstairs anymore, but we do have a new option for food, which is more of like a rotating dining option. So they'll do like a salad bar 1 week.
I believe it's meant to be a little bit more of like grab and go. So maybe some more prepackaged items that you can just self-check in and walk out if you don't have time to sit in the dining hall.
Yes. Yeah. And then this is our student program suite. So we have our outdoor program. Oh no, somebody said no Subway. That's a pity. I know it is, but we do have Subways in town. So.
That's okay. Yeah, there's like three other Subways in Klamath Falls. So you're set.
And somebody else actually asked about if we're reptile friendly. So that's a good question. We are able to have emotional support animals in the residence hall. So I don't know if that's quite what you're asking, but those would have to be documented through our Access and Campus Equity Services office. But yeah, we do have emotional support animals that are allowed on campus. So if you're interested in that, I highly encourage you to look into that. And then this is our outdoor program. Matt, do you want to touch on the outdoor program in the treehouse at all? Are you good with that?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay.
So the outdoor program provides all sorts of different activities throughout the year. Of course, like wintertime, there's options for skiing and snowboarding. Spring and fall, there might be things like zip lining, skydiving, hiking. Um, they have a lot of equipment that you can come and rent out, like the mountain bikes and the gear for all of those activities, as well as just camping supplies, things like that. Most of these trips are either free or at a very low cost, especially compared to what they would be if you went to go buy a lift ticket on your own at one of these places, at like a skiing place, for example. Let's see, we also have the tree house there in the back by the kayak. That is basically the combination of the Women's Resource Center and kind of the more diversity-based programs on campus. So it's meant to be a safe, quiet space where people can come and study. They can hold study groups if they want. From time to time, I believe they have options to get food in there. It's just meant to be a place to provide extra resources on campus that really try to meet whatever you might be missing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then the rest of the tour will go more into the academic buildings, except for Snell. Snell is more of an administration building. So it has the cashier's office. It has what else? HR if you do get an on-campus job and you need to fill out paperwork.
You'll probably
Just a
only
ton.
go into Snell a couple times a term, if even a year.
Yes, and I haven't even well, I've gone in there a couple of times, but definitely, some students will go in there, some students won't. But if we move over to Dow, which is one of our College of Health Arts and Sciences building, if this looks kind of familiar to you, it's kind of modeled after what a hospital might look like inside, because a lot of our students will be working in a hospital wing. So this houses like respiratory, a lot of our anatomy and physiology labs will be in here, our nursing program, our medical imaging programs. What's really cool, if you ever come to campus, these, red hanging down pictures over here, they form, not to spoil it, but they form a heart if you look at one side or a brain if you look from the other. So that's a really cool place to look on campus, just kind of see what campus looks like. But that is Dow. It's probably one of the buildings that you'll see when you come right into campus if you park in our main parking lot. So that's a good building for our College of Health Arts and Sciences. Over on the left is Boyven Hall. Boyven is going to be under renovation. So if you come anytime soon, you might not be in there for a couple of years, but that one's under renovation now. But Seaman was over on the right-hand side. This is a picture, but this is the dental hygiene clinic kind of lobby. And it looks essentially like a dental office would look. So students truly kind of just are working and taking their courses in a place that really looks like a dental hygiene office. And then let's see. Oh, I moved way too far. I was gonna go down the hallway, but now we're in Purvine. Matt, do you want to touch on Purvine at all? Anything that you like, or what's your favorite part of Purvine?
Sure. So in Purvine, there's 2 stories to it. The top floor is all of our electrical and renewable energy programs, and the bottom floor is all of the computer and software majors like mine. It also has an auditorium that might hold events, or like a couple of the larger classes that need a little more room. Yeah, it also has, let's see, the cafe inside where you can get a few grab and go items if you want to. And overall, if you're in either an electrical or computer related major, it's where you'll spend the majority of your time.
A lot of our comm classes will also be in Purvine for some reason. I took quite a few communications classes in my marketing degree, and I always seemed to end up in Purvine, which I thought was really interesting. Provine sometimes I noticed was one of the warmer buildings, which was really nice. So it's got all those big windows, but it's pretty cozy in there. Those large windows down at the end will look over one of our newest installments on campus, which is a brand new turf soccer field. It's actually, I think, probably a few years old at this point, but it's a really incredible addition to our athletics department for our soccer teams. And I know there are some barbecues out there on the patio of Provine. I don't know how many people use them, but I always thought it was cool to look out those big windows and see what was going on. There's also a larger parking lot down beneath Provine that some people will refer to as the Provine parking lot. But those big auditoriums will usually be where your speech classes are at. So all Oregon Tech students are taking an introductory speech class and like a group speech class, and they'll most often be in Provine in the big auditoriums, which is pretty fun. It's not as intimidating as it sounds, but it's pretty fun.
Awesome. Thank you both. And then I skipped over the outside of Cornet because I think that we have renovated since we have taken the outside of Cornet picture. So it doesn't really look the same, but this is one of the machining labs in Cornet. Cassidy, I know you said that you took one of these courses, right?
I did, yeah. So I actually took the course that takes place in this lab. So during my time at Oregon Tech, I was really active in a club called Oregon Tech Racing. Within Oregon Tech Racing, there are two different teams, and they basically focus on street versus dirt when it comes to racing. These students will work to build miniature vehicles that they'll take to an international competition that's hosted by the Society of Automotive Engineers. So all mechanical manufacturing and mechanical engineering technology students will all take this class, which is Introduction to Manufacturing Systems. It's called MFG 120, and you'll be using these mills over here that are the screen is panning to. We do have a CNC machine available for students. And then the larger machines that we saw earlier are going to be the lathes that students use. So we have quite a few different saws, but students are primarily working on the lathes throughout this MFG 120 class. And so, yeah, as a business student, I was able to take this introductory course and learn how to use these machines so that I could further help out the Oregon Tech racing teams in addition to my duties that I was doing in the marketing and sales department. But it was really, really exciting. I think that, that's one of the really great benefits of being in such a small university is that I could approach the head of the engineering department and say, hey, I'm a business student. Can I take this course as an elective just for funsies? I don't think that many other larger universities would be too jazzed about that because there are, dangerous equipment. It's not relative to my major, anything like that. So I thought it was really cool to be a part of Oregon Tech history as well. These machines have been at Oregon Tech basically since we opened our doors in 1947. Previously, the shop teacher for this class, his dad attended Oregon Tech. This man was probably in his 70s, I think, and his father attended Oregon Tech, and they both use these exact same machines. So they're old, but they still work really great. It's that good old American craftsmanship, but we do have some newer machines in, of course, our brand new seat building. And then the Oregon Tech racing teams have their own shop on campus. So that shop does have some newer equipment as well, but it's great to see a range of, how the industry has changed and see, what machines you might be working on in a job.
Awesome. Thank you. Cassidy can explain it way better than I could ever. So I appreciate that. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of other pictures of the inside of Cornet, but it does look a lot like this with the big glass windows to see into the different labs. So if you ever come and are interested in like the manufacturing or mechanical programs and you want to see more of what you might get yourself into, you could definitely look through the building a little bit more and see where the Formula One and Baja SAE clubs are. So
yeah, Cornet also houses civil engineering. So it's kind of split in half. Half of Cornet is mechanical or MMET. The other half is civil engineering. But yeah, I think these photos were taken at the time when we were still in renovation. So this was about the only room that was done at the time.
Yes. And then moving over to Owens. Owens will have a lot of our business programs as well as geomatics, which is that land surveying kind of offshoot of civil engineering. A lot of those programs and classes will be in Owens. And then over on the right-hand side, I guess, of Owens, or left, whatever side you're looking from, is our LRC, or the Learning Resources Center, which offers great study spaces for students, lots of different, books, computers, whiteboards that you could use, and
Study rooms.
different classes, study rooms.
Yeah, another acronym for you. It's just the library, but
Right, LRC. And advising and retention is in there as well as a lot of the CARES offices, or the Center for Academic Resources and Engagement Services offices. So that's our kind of, I would say, academic resource hub, probably. It's over there. Go ahead, Matt.
I also want to mention another part of this building is the career services program. So that is basically upstairs. There are people who help you with things like resumes, practicing interviews, finding and filling out job applications, basically any kind of service that you might need in order to get you out there into the workforce when you're ready. And also, if you graduate from OIT, and even if you're 20 years down the line and you decide that you want to change careers or update your resume and see what else might be out there, they're still available as a service to you. Once an owl, always an owl. And they're just a great resource for that kind of thing. I actually got help from them today in a big interview that I had. I got to use like a really nice, quiet room to take care of that online. And it was just a really nice experience.
it is true. Career services helped me after I graduated too. I didn't move into this role here at Oregon Tech right after I graduated from Oregon Tech. So I was able to, come back to them in the midst of 2020 and that, job market still a little wishy-washy. So it was really great to have someone to just have a second set of eyes on my resume, or, talk me through some things.
Thank you both for mentioning that, because I didn't mention it earlier. And then we'll quickly just run through kind of more of the athletics area and the residence halls. So this is the athletics building. The top is where the basketball court is and where they do volleyball and things like that for our NAIA athletic teams. But then down below is our newly renovated tech rec for all students to do whether it be like exercising or an intramural game, whatever you might be interested in. That would be downstairs below this one. And then our residence hall is one of our housing style options, which I didn't mention, but this is going to be your more traditional kind of residence hall that you might see on like a movie or TV show, typically 2 people per room and a shared bathroom down the hallway with shared living spaces kind of interspersed throughout. This is the middle, which is the courtyard. They host a very, very fun haunted house for Halloween, which I unfortunately have not seen because it's been canceled for a couple of years because of COVID. But housing and residence life actually puts on lots of different events for the community as well. Kind of for each term, they have one big event that they invite community members to. So it's a lot of fun, a great way to kind of stay involved in your community as well. Then the Village is our other housing style option, and that's going to be more of an apartment style option. Typically, it's going to be 4 people per unit, with each having single rooms, and then 2 shared bathrooms, a shared kitchen, and a shared living space in the same unit. So they're both great options. We, as I think I mentioned, Klamath Falls is the only campus that we have residence options at, like on campus. So something to keep in mind. But if you all are from Klamath Falls, you could also live from home. It's not required to live on campus, even as a first-year student. So that could be an option for you as well.
That's a great way to save money.
Yes.
I'm sure Matt and I can attest to, that's one thing that helps
really
bring the cost of college down. It's not as lame as it sounds.
Definitely. And then this is our integrated student health center. It's up past the Village, which is that apartment style living. They can help in pretty much anything health related. They do shots. They can do really anything a small doctor's office could do. So if you need any appointments, but they also do more counseling or mental health appointments. So if you need any kind of help anyway, any kind of health related help, they are wonderful and ready to assist you in whatever you might need. And then the final picture of our tour is the O, which is awesome. This is one of my favorite. Actually, I haven't been up there, but looking at the picture, it's one of my favorite places on campus. It's just a wonderful kind of 360 view of what you see if you hike up to the O. It's essentially an O and a T up in the hills up past our solar panels. A lot of students will do it as kind of team building or just hike up there with friends. I've heard not to do it in the snow, so I've just decided not to do it at all. But I don't know, Matt or Cassidy, if either of you hiked up to the O, but I would definitely encourage it if you are willing to take on the challenge. I've heard it's difficult, so.
Yeah, it's pretty steep, that's what kept me away. The view is great, but I am not the most avid hiker, so it's a little much for me.
Definitely. And then Cassidy, would you like to just kind of run through a couple of the Portland Metro rooms?
Yeah.
We'll have enough time for that.
Yeah, just real quick. So as Monica, of course, mentioned, Portland Metro is going to be a pretty different experience. So Portland Metro, we call it our commuter campus. Yeah, there's also an audio that will pop up. So if you don't catch it, it'll just keep going, but there's closed captioning as well. If you want to just let it talk to you, it'll tell you some great information. But this is our entrance. So I think, will it move? I don't know. I have it pulled up on my computer as well. I didn't know how we wanted to control it, but so we are kind of an office building. So we occupy 3 out of 4 floors of this building, kind of in a business park. So that sign that you saw previously, we do share this parking lot with a couple other buildings, but there's some really awesome buildings that we partner with. So I can talk a little bit about that. But this is our peer consulting center. So similar to the Klamath Falls campus, we have students that are able to help tutor you through your classes. It's also a great opportunity to work on campus, but we can move to the library, which is just going to be across the way on the 4th floor of our building. We have renovated the library a bit, so it looks a little different now, but again, going to be pretty similar to Klamath Falls. We have equipment, computers, laptops, things you can check out and take with you, as well as books, of course. We have 10 different study rooms on our campus. And then, of course, communal spaces if you want to just hang out and work on a project. Some lovely big windows so you can look out and see all the rain up in the Portland area, which has been a bit of a change for me. If you don't already know, Klamath Falls is actually the sunniest city in the state of Oregon. So of course, that's great for solar power, but it's really great for mental health too. It's a little different moving up here, but we have some great resources on our campus as well, if that's going to be an adjustment for you. But we'll move on to our RE lab. Yeah, so this is going to be one of our labs on campus. So like I said, we are kind of an interesting campus. We're sort of an office building, but we make the most of the labs that we do have. I believe this lab may have moved to a different spot as well. We're kind of in transition, but you'll see some of those solar panels. So students are kind of able to study those in person or in close contact like they would with our solar panels down in Klamath Falls. We do have a simulation power grid up here for our students. So we are really grateful to be able to host renewable energy engineering up here. And we'll continue on to MLS, which is one of the unique things that Portland Metro offers that Klamath Falls does not. So this is one of the few healthcare options here at Portland Metro. There is a difference in what's offered just because we don't have all the exact lab spaces and professors. And that's why our population up here is a little bit smaller, but medical laboratory sciences is this degree program. It's a full 4-year bachelor's program, and it's going to be similar to our closed cohorts down in Klamath Falls, where you have to complete a year of prerequisites before applying to the program itself. This program is basically, think of a lab scientist anytime in, Grey's Anatomy, they're telling you to send it off to the lab. That's what these students are doing. So they're analyzing blood samples, urine samples, COVID tests, anything like that. And these students have some really great job opportunities after graduation as well. We can move on to the power lab. This is another one of our lab spaces, again, going to be more geared towards renewable energy engineering students, electrical engineering, mechanical, manufacturing. and electronics engineering. So couldn't really tell you about what a lot of these machines are, but I know that it's some really great hands-on work for our students. But I will talk about our kind of miniature cornet over here. You can advance over to the MMET lab. So again, this has been renovated as well, so it is a lot more fleshed out, but this is what we call our Canyon Creek facility. This is our manufacturing space a little bit off campus. So it's about a 2-minute drive, I believe, in the same business park down here in Wilsonville. But this is going to be the equivalent to the manufacturing lab that you saw in the tour in Cornett for the Klamath Falls campus. This is where our students will take manufacturing 120. They'll use the lathes, mills, other heavy machinery, and be able to go through that MFG 120 class. So students can take, the 4 years of our engineering programs up here, but when it comes to our health sciences is where it might differ a little bit on the Portland Metro campus. And then this is just a great view of one of our classrooms. So you'll see they're pretty small. I don't know if Monica mentioned it, but our average class size here at Oregon Tech is only about 17 students. We usually don't do any more than 25 in a classroom. I actually had a class at Oregon Tech that only had 7 students in it one time, which was really excellent. So you get to know your professor, get to know your peers, and you can kind of work in these smaller spaces, but still have time to head off to your lab and get that hands-on work done as well. And then we do have a cybersecurity lab on this campus as well. Klamath Falls has one as well. These are going to be secure labs for our students to work on some pretty interesting projects that, again, I don't know a whole ton about, but I know that they are pretty secure, hence the cybersecurity. So they're doing some cool stuff that they might not be able to tell you about, but it's really, really exciting to see them, work in their field.
Before we move on, somebody asked, are the class sizes the same in both campuses, or like the average class size?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, we do have a smaller population on this campus, but students, we have a smaller amount of majors as well. So students might not be as dispersed as they are in Klamath. So I know it stays pretty consistent across both campuses. And then this is one of our conference rooms on campus. I'm never really sure why they included this in our tour. This is where we host some events. Some students will do some presentations in here. I think some of our senior project students to kind of get that more corporate office feel if you're kind of preparing for moving on into the real world. But I think some professors have used it for classes too. If they have a small enough group and it's one of the few rooms available, they can always book it for their classes. Alrighty. This one is our optics lab. So something that is also unique to Portland Metro. So we have all of the focuses in engineering that Klamath Falls has, with the exception of civil engineering and geomatics. But we have a couple extensions as well. So students can add an optics minor onto an electrical engineering degree, mechanical engineering degree, CSET degrees, anything like that. So those students are doing some cool work with light. I know that is not the most specific, but our professors can tell you a lot more about optics if that's something you're interested in. And then our student commons. Again, some transformation has happened on campus, so things do look a little different. We've implemented a better food system, so there's not a ton of vending machines really. We have more fresh options that are coming in. We have like a kind of little mini marketplace to go, so you can get sandwiches, and yeah, a couple more options other than just vending machine food. But these are where some of our events are housed. We've got a ping pong table out here. We have gaming consoles for students to check out and use in the common areas, or just hang out and eat lunch. But you will sometimes see some other folks coming in and out of these doors over here. So like I said, we have 3 floors in this building. The 4th floor that we don't occupy is Collins Aerospace. And we also share the parking lot with them as well. They're across the way, but Collins has a contract with the Department of Defense. So their floor on our building is incredibly secure. You can't even really get off the elevator to see the 3rd floor of the building. So Collins is doing some cool secret stuff up there. And some of our students do have the opportunity to see what's going on because they have opportunities for internships or full-time jobs with Collins after graduation, which is really exciting. But this is one of our other entrances, sort of. So you'll see people coming in and out. And then I think this is one of our last ones, something that's, again, pretty unique to Portland Metro. Our other health sciences option is the only associate's degree that's offered at Oregon Tech, I believe, which is our paramedic program. So this is a partnership with OHSU, Oregon Health and Sciences University. Students are, like you see, can do some really cool hands-on work similar to the hospital setting in the Dow building down in Klamath Falls. Students are simulating a real-world environment. They're working with professors, with volunteers from the community, and of course, other students. But the paramedic program is a closed cohort, again, meaning you have to maintain special admittance to get in, but it's a really great program. It is a 2-year associate's degree. We do also offer a 6-month EMT certification. So you can do that separately from the paramedic program or included in the paramedic program since it is a requirement, but just a great option too if you want to maybe go into emergency medical services. And I believe this is our last stop, maybe. Yeah. Or maybe student services up next, but this is our rapid prototyping lab, maker space here on campus. Again, looks a little different now. Things have upgraded, but our students have, I believe, 6 or 7 Prusa 3D printers in this lab. They have like a vinyl cutter. They have a wood 3D printer. They have a couple different other options. This is a student-run club, so students can bring in their own personal projects. They can work on class projects. They can have access to a lot of this different equipment. They can volunteer. Unfortunately, it's not a paid position, but students can volunteer in the club and really have some great stuff to put on the resume for after graduation. Alrighty, yep, last stop. This is our student services suite. So this is going to be where my office is, where I'm hanging out right now. You'll see the 3D printing lab over there in the corner with the yellow. We have some great conference rooms that are available for students and staff, but here is kind of our one-stop shop. So students will have the cashier's office, admissions, registrar, financial aid, student involvement and belonging, basically all the features of the Klamath Falls campus that are in multiple buildings. You got to walk everywhere. You just walk across the hall and we're all in this nice little suite tucked away here. So I think that's about all that I can say about Portland Metro. Hopefully we have some time for questions moving along here, but thanks for being here. Like I said, kind of late for you guys. I don't know if you guys are, trying to eat dinner or whatnot, but yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Cassidy, for taking us through Portland Metro. And again, Cassidy and Matt, for all of your help to touch on more of the student side of things. Let's see. I think I got potentially 2 direct questions. So let me go back through and read those really quickly. There was one question about animation courses, which I think we did answer at some point. We don't offer a lot of art courses here, but we do have some art courses. So while you might not be able to get a specific degree in animation, there is potential you could get a degree in maybe like communications or separately if that's something that interests you, so that you could build around animation. And then there was another question is, are there any cultural centers / clubs or specific resources for BIPOC students? So good questions. We do. So here at the Klamath Falls campus and up at Portland Metro, our student involvement and belonging office kind of is the overarching office for our diversity and belonging office, as well as any clubs and organizations that are specific for multicultural clubs and organizations. So I would highly encourage any students who are interested in more of those identity-based organizations or clubs or involvement to definitely check out the Treehouse, which was a long time ago at the beginning of the Klamath Falls tour. On the second floor of our college union, we have the Treehouse, which is kind of that center for any students to work with other students who might identify the same way as them. And that would be a great place to start. We also have a wonderful assistant director of diversity and belonging, or director of diversity and belonging, up here in Klamath Falls now. So her office is located up there too. So she is awesome in connecting students, as well as anybody in student involvement and belonging. In all honesty, that whole team over there is awesome. And I'm sure they are as well in Portland Metro. Good question. I am not sure if I saw any other questions that were not answered, but if anybody has any other questions that they would like to put in the chat, feel free to do so. Otherwise, maybe I will just turn it over. If I'll turn it over to Matt and Cassidy, maybe just to mention any final thoughts or maybe any college going tips or anything like that. And I'll wait and see if there's any other questions in the chat. If you have anything that you would like to add.
I think there's something that is always worth noting, just from my personal perspective, and I think Matt can speak to it as well. We get a lot of questions about music and like the arts in Klamath Falls. So, you know, Oregon Tech is a primarily STEM focused school, so we don't necessarily have a lot of those arts. We get questions about music education, things like that, or the option to continue playing an instrument after high school. So we don't have a college band, but Matt and I were both part of the Klamath Falls Community Band. So it's a great organization in Klamath Falls. It's a nonprofit. It is local to the area, so anyone can join. It's going to be a lot of community members. There's some professors from Oregon Tech I know are part of it. So they like to, you know, play in their spare time. We also have a Klamath Symphony that's going to be, of course, stringed instruments, a Klamath Chorale that is, you know, more of like an adult choir. So there are some opportunities in Klamath Falls. It's a pretty small town, but those things are out there if you're looking for them. And it's really best to just ask. I know Matt and I are from Klamath Falls, so it really sometimes makes it easier to have access to those. But I always like to put it out there if you want to continue playing music. It's not going to be completely lost while you're at a tech school studying.
Something I'd like to add. So people have talked in the chat about different ideas that they have and things that they might want to start. There are a couple of really great opportunities for those kinds of things. So first of all, in several programs, especially all of the engineering ones, there are sometimes junior projects, but there's pretty much always a senior project. So that is your opportunity in a junior project, at least in my program, to work in a team of like 3 or 4 students. Or in senior project, that's typically individually, but you could also work with a club and lead a team of people if you want to build something bigger. That could be part of your experience, but that's a time when you can take an idea that you have and start it and have something to show for it by the end of the year. It's a really great opportunity with that. There's also a program called Catalyze Klamath, which is basically like a business pitching and coaching program, kind of like Shark Tank. So you can be introduced to all the resources that our community has in Klamath Falls for developing small businesses and doing that kind of research and making plans. And at the end, that kind of culminates in a competition where you can possibly win money in order to start those ideas and work with any groups of students that you want to. That's a really great opportunity. I participated in that one. So if you're coming here with ideas, we really want to encourage them.
Yeah, I know quite a few people that went through Catalyze. A couple of them have come to fruition. Some business students from Klamath Falls, from our Klamath Falls campus. They're originally from Southern Oregon, kind of the Medford Rogue River area. Those students have gone on to compete in Catalyze Klamath with their business pitch, which was a coffee shop that would eventually turn into a wine bar. So students have succeeded in that, which is really excited. Right down from campus is Bravada Brew House. So that is owned by former students. They run the business. They're turning a profit, which is really, really exciting. And they did receive some money from Catalyze Klamath, and they received a lot of support from our community. So, it was really exciting to see like we have what we call the Klamath County Economic Development Association and like the tourism board. Those people are always willing to support Oregon Tech students to bring business to Klamath Falls and to help it thrive. And then I did mention in the chat, a student was talking about recycling of plastics and possibly prosthetics, which is really exciting. My former roommate, she competed in Catalyze Klamath. You'll see a lot of materials around the Klamath Falls campus about it. Their group was called the Reclaimers. They were a team of women in engineering, which again, if you're looking at scholarships, there's always incredible opportunities for women in STEM. So they were able to take their idea of recycling plastics. They invented this invention. I don't know a ton about it. She did a lot of work for it, a lot of late nights in our apartment, but her and these other students worked together to create this invention that could recycle plastics. And, you know, they won a state competition. I think they took it nationally as well. And so, you know, now they're working in their respective fields as engineers, but I know that project has continued from Oregon Tech. So some other students are continuing to work on it and make it, you know, make it even bigger, which is really, really cool.
Thank you both. I don't know if I saw any more questions. Oh, except there might have been one just now. Oh, somebody asked about where they could find the recording once it is ready to go. Adam, do you have that info?
Yeah, we will make that available to you all. Recordings will be shared with your advisors, so be sure to connect with them. And if you wanted to send an email also, if you received an email reminder about tonight's session, just send an email back asking for the recording. We'd be happy to share it with you directly. Also, just kind of piggybacking off of Catalyze, something exciting to look forward to if you are participating in our Klamath Falls demo day. We will have some representation from Catalyze to kind of talk about that a little more and spoiler alert, but we're hoping to you know, be able to work with them a little closer in the future and kind of extend some of those opportunities directly to our MESA students, MESA community. So something to look forward to there.
Another important thing to note for those of you that are in Klamath Falls, again, I don't know how much interest there was for the business department, but I know Mazama High School does have the Future Business Leaders of America, and we work with Mazama High School for what we call our Jump into Business program. It's also known as Diploma to Degree. Actually, during my senior year at Oregon Tech, I wrote a marketing plan for this program to help get it off the ground. Very near and dear to my heart. I love Klamath Falls. I love Oregon Tech. So it was really exciting for me to work on that. But if FBLA or DECA at some of the other high schools, anything like that, if you're interested in the business program, it's always a great opportunity to talk to your advisors or to any of those folks. So I just remembered that. And I did just put my contact information in the chat. Thank you, Matt, for correcting my own typo. I try not to get too close to the screen when I'm typing because I don't want you guys to look at my nose. But my information is there. So I serve about 6 counties in Oregon. So I'm going to be around kind of the Salem, Corvallis area and a little bit over into the coast. And then I also serve the entire state of Washington. So sometimes, you know, some things might come to me because you're located in that area, or they might go to our other admissions counselors that are assigned to different geographical areas. But if you're in Klamath Falls, you're mostly going to stick with Monica, which is really great. But if you guys ever want to talk to us individually, you don't have to be assigned a specific counselor to talk to anyone at Oregon Tech. So we're always here to help no matter what.
Yeah, thank you all so much for having us. Thank you, Adam, for reaching out. This was awesome. So we appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for joining and for being able to provide some really valuable insight to our students. I hope that they had a lot to take away from this. I know there was tons of great information, and yeah, Oregon Tech's a really awesome school, some great offerings. So I'm glad we were able to share that with them. Folks, as a reminder, also, you can check the chat. Please complete that form. One, it lets us know that you were here, and it's more importantly, will be your entry to our raffle. So The link is in the chat. Please fill that out. Yeah, we'll leave it open for a moment. So you
Monica,
can
did you want
do
to
that.
drop that the other link as well to get more info from us?
Oh, sure.
Or well, I'm sure you can probably get MESA information too.
I just put the link in for Oregon Tech. If you're interested in more information, feel free to use that link below as well. If you aren't able to do that or don't catch it or just need more information at a later date, you could also just contact Cassidy or I or the main admissions contact info, and we can definitely make sure that you're getting all the information that you need. We know that the college search journey and college exploration journey can be a lot sometimes. So please, please, please feel free to reach out. Yeah, and if for some reason that link isn't working for you, it will probably show you as registering for this current event, and that's totally fine. It will send you out communications once you're marked as attended for the event.
I did just follow the link and it says registration is no longer available because the registration deadline has passed.
That could be an issue. Give me.
Did you put a deadline in Slate, Monica?
No, I don't think so, but
Okay.
if you let me just find the request for information form and we'll go with that one. We'll just do the more general request for information form. Don't use the one that I sent first. We'll send that one instead. But again, like I said, feel free to reach out anytime. We'd be more than happy to help.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you all so much. Yeah, if you have any questions come up, direct them to one of us and we'll be happy to get you those answers. But yeah, otherwise, I hope everyone has a lovely night and enjoys the rest of their week. If you're a student online, we do have, again, right, some sessions every night tonight, or this week, I'm sorry. And sorry, I got stuck here. So tomorrow night we have a Clark College. Again, it'll be the same time. Thursday we will hear from University of Portland, and then on Friday we have Humboldt State University. Humboldt State's out in Northern California. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you all the rest of this week. Hope you had a great night tonight. Again, thank you so much, Monica and Cassidy and Matt. It was great to have you all on here and some really, really good information to share.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you. See ya.
Thanks.